Well, hey fans, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Spoilers, and today we're talking spoilers for Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. Now, I really enjoyed this film. The DC Animated Universe movies are some of my favorite. I believe I gave it an 8.6 over on the blog. You can go read the full review there. But let's get into the nitty gritty, the spoilers about this movie. And I'm actually going to try to focus more on speaking to you guys today. Not saying I don't ever speak to you, but when I get into thought, I tend to gaze off. And you'll notice in some of my other videos, whenever I say something, I will kind of look up. And that just means I'm in thought and thinking about things. But I'm going to try to focus more on the camera. I tend to notice that I do that. So, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. Like I said before, I enjoyed the film. It takes place in the DC animated movie universe, in the more recent ones where they're all actually connected as opposed to just an offshoot story here and an offshoot story here. And this one follows the Suicide Squad. Task Force X is the real name, but Vanessa Waller sends them on a mission to get this specific. Well, she sends them to find the stripper guy because he knows the whereabouts of a card she's looking for. And what's great about this movie is they've made Deadshot the focus, which he's been a lot since the movie came out, which I also enjoyed. But he's not Will Smith in this. He's Christian Slater, which I'll get more on that later. But this is pretty much Deadshot's final mission. If he gets his card for Waller, he's out. He's paid off his time. He can go be with his daughter. Now, Vanessa Waller has a terminal. Amanda Waller, she's voiced by Vanessa Williams, I'm sorry. Amanda Waller has a terminal illness. We're not told what it was, but you assume it's like cancer, some kind of brain tumor or something. And another good thing about her, you know how in the comics, some of the comics and some of the old TV shows, Amanda Waller is a bigger woman. In this one, she's thinner. And in a lot of the recent adaptations, she has been thinner as well. But they kind of make a little jab at it apparently she has Deadshot if he thought she looked fat, because apparently she's recently lost all this weight, and they never explained if it's actually due to her cancer, her illness, why she's lost the weight, or if she decided to get healthy. But so the opening of this movie it has nothing to do with the car. This is before she sends them for the car, but a version of Task Force X, sorry, these braces, on a mission to get some information for Waller. I think it's about her illness, but they don't really go into detail, from Tobias Whale. And on this mission, Count Vertigo's there, two other unknowns, Black Mansa's there, but a couple of the members turn on Deadshot, and they're like, we're going to sell this information for Waller. And Deadshot's like, guys, come on, really? You know she's going to find out. She's listening to us right now. And of course she is. So she kills like three of them and the one girl, I can't remember her name right now. But she like begged Deadshot, shoot me, don't let her blow up my head. Please don't let her blow up my head. And of course he, just shoots her in the head. And Waller picks on him for going soft. But that was a great mission. From the get-go, you see how bloody and how just gritty this movie is. And that's, once again, thanks to director Sam Liu. He's directed a number of films for the DC Animated Universe, and they've all been pretty decent. But back to the main mission. She tells Deadshot he needs to get this card. He's getting out. She assembles a new Task Force X, which is Deadshot, Copperhead, the Ice Chick, and I can't remember her name right now. Icicle? It's not Icicle. Bronze Tiger, and who else is in it? Harley Quinn, of course. They even make a joke about it. He's like, Harley Quinn, why is she here? She's like, I'm running low on options, because it's like, do we need Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad? Why isn't she with the Joker? And like, I loved her in the movie Suicide Squad, and that whole thing made sense where the Joker lost her. She should not be in the sequel unless it's a cameo, because in that live action movie, she got out and there's no way she should be getting recaptured, even if Margot Robbie is a big name right now. But back to the animated movie. So this mission is off the books, even from Cadmus or Argus or whoever they were in the film. I can't remember. So she gives them an RV. So it's really a road trip movie with supervillains going to find this guy, and they find him, and he's a stripper in some kind of male strip club, and some other villains are after him too. I think it's like Blockbuster. Killer Frost was the girl. It's Killer Frost, not Icicle. Killer Frost. But Blockbuster's after him. Reverse Flash is after him. Scandal Savage is after him with her girlfriend, which I didn't even know she was a lesbian, but apparently she's a lesbian. Her girlfriend is a new god. I can't remember exactly which new god she is, but she's after them, of course, for her father, Vandal Savage. Who else? Banshee was after him. She was working with Reverse Flash and Blockbuster. And they find the guy, and they're like, so why are all these people after you? And he's like, well, there's this card. And it turns out what the card is, it's a get out of hell free card. Whoever has this card on them, when they die, automatically goes to heaven, no matter what they've done in life, no matter how evil they've been. It's crazy. And so that's what Waller wants, because Waller has a terminal illness, and she's afraid when she dies, she's going to hell. So that's why she wants this card. And they're like, well, how did you even get this card? And he's like, guys, I was Dr. Fate for once. And they're like, what? He said, yeah, look at me. I'm in great shape. Dr. Fate chose me to wear the helmet. And so he was a hero. Dr. Fate was using his body was possessing his body for, it seemed like at least a year. And all he had to do was, keep up with Dr. Fate's things. But apparently while he was Dr. Fate, he slept with Banshee, who's a villain, which is weird. It was funny. Just lets you know how these superpower people get around. But she found out the card was there. And somehow he was hitting on more women. He was hitting on Scandal Savage and her girlfriend. And they got there and they saw the card there. And they beat him up and stole it before he could get the helmet on and stop him. And then Dr. Fate found out and, of course, kicked him out of the tower. Naboo, Dr. Fate, they're the same one. Naboo is his name, but kicked him out of the tower. And their goal was to get the card for Vandal Savage, her dad. Because even though Vandal Savage is immortal in the sense that he will not die by aging. He doesn't age anymore. He heals. But he can still be killed. And he brings it up in the movie. He's like, with all the superhumans that have been showing up lately, I've come close to death way too many times for me to feel comfortable. Like, he can still be killed. And so, there's this whole thing with Professor Pig in there too, where they get Professor Pig to basically surgically implant the card into Vandal Savage's chest, like right behind his heart, so that if anyone were to try to remove the card, it would kill him. And voila, he's automatically going to heaven for all the crazy shit he's done. But the killer, what made this movie so great is Reverse Flash's story. You find out that he's after the card with Blockbuster and Banshee, and he's promising to use his time travel knowledge to help them out if they help him with this. And you notice, like, throughout, he's acting a little weird. Has these super speed powers that he's not really using, or if he's using afterwards, he's like, he's just acting weird. Like, at one point, he's trying to put a tracker on Vandal Savage, and he's running, and he's getting visibly tired. Like, why the hell is he tired? And he runs, he gets it, and then he starts bleeding under his mask. You're like, what is going on with him? Does he have cancer or something? Like, I guess technically, even though he's super fast, he can still die of normal stuff like cancer or whatever. So maybe he has cancer too. And he ends up kidnapping Killer Frost and taking the bomb out of her neck and having her join him. And the reason you find out, she's like, well, why do you even need all of us to help you? You're super fast. And he's like, because I'm on borrowed time already. And he pulls off his mask. And you see Eobor Thawne under the Reverse Flash mask with a giant bullet hole through his head. And you find out, he's like, it was Batman. And they were like, Batman? He's like, don't worry, different timeline. This is the same Reverse Flash from Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox. When Thomas Wayne Batman shoots him in the head at the end, he summoned all his strength to muster up the Speed Force to split. Well, he like shifted his molecules to leave most of his brain unaffected although it's still a shot to the head, he's going to die. But he was able to move really fast and vibrate into another timeline. So it pretty much expanded his point of death, which should have been instantaneous, to like a year. So he can pretty much survive for a year with this giant bullet hole in his head, and he's trying to get this before he runs out of time. He's trying to get this card, and he mentions like, it's really hard to use my powers because I can't think straight. It's like just being in a fog. Sometimes I don't even know really where I am, and it was just the most amazing twist. But that was his story, and I really, when you find out, I just thought it was wonderful. I thought it was wonderful, and of course he doesn't get the card. He gets killed, but he doesn't have the card on him because Bronze Tiger's the man. Bronze Tiger, voiced by Billy Brown in this, is so cool. He is so solid. I mean, and Billy Brown does a great job voicing him. It's great. I mean, you kind of, when you look at him, you're like, oh, they should definitely get Corey Payton to voice this guy, which would have been great. But Billy Brown does a fantastic job. He's a badass. He's like the second in command almost. Just a martial arts expert, former CIA. His wife was killed by Slade, or his fiance was killed by Slade, which you see in the flashback. And in the end, he's in, like a lot of people die in this movie. A lot, like Reverse Flash finally dies in both timelines because, the bullet hole. Killer Frost dies, Copperhead dies, Bronze Tiger dies, Blockbuster dies, Vandal Savage dies. Everybody dies, for the most part. Captain Boomerang's also in the group. I can't believe I forgot him earlier, but Captain Boomerang's in the group as well, along with Killer Frost and all of them. But Bronze Tiger, like, he's telling everybody, like, when they find out what they're looking for the card, and they were like, do you even really believe in heaven? And like half of them kind of don't, but kind of do. And it brings up this great philosophy about what these villains actually think about the afterlife. That some of them, yeah, I've done evil things for money. It would be great to have a card that automatically send me to heaven that forgives my sins, which it's a movie, they don't really understand the basis of sin. But just for the sake of the movie, it was great. So you get to find out all these people who don't really seem religious are deep down religious. They're afraid of going to hell for their actions, even though they want to be evil people. And just hearing them talk about that adds so much more depth to this movie and to these characters. Another thing, Tara Strong, she does great voice in Harley Quinn, like she always does, but Harley Quinn is kind of there to be a fun idiot, like she has been recently. I know she's supposed to be crazy, but she's also a psychiatrist. I don't think they delve into that as much as they used to. It used to be a good balance of, yeah, she's crazy, but she's also super intelligent and athletic. And they're kind of more leaning on the fact that she's crazy lately. And I don't know if I care for that, but she was okay. The thing about Vandal Savage in this that was also great, that they just prove how ruthless he is, and even though he only has some degree of super strength and immortality in terms of living and knowledge of all these centuries and all these kids and whatever, but how ruthless he is. Like, he's willing to kill, like, he wasn't willing to kill his daughter, but his daughter's girlfriend, oh, she's expendable, and she pretty much is put in coma in this movie because she is shot up by his men. Like, he's one of the most evil villains in the DC universe, which I think, in the live-action movies, I think Darkseid should be the final villain, but in the second Justice League movie, whenever it happens, if it ever happens, Vandal Savage should be the go-to guy. And that would be great. Let's see what else is great about this movie. Make sure I try and keep my eye contact. The thing I said earlier about Deadshot. Deadshot is great in the movie, but he's voiced by Christian Slater. And he sounds like Christian Slater. And to me, he just doesn't sound like Deadshot. It sounds a little goofy, and it just kind of pulls me out of it. It's just a little off every time he talks. So I didn't really care for that much. That's just me personally. If you guys think about it, that's great. I just would have rather had somebody else. Hell, I would rather have Will Smith voice him. Or Corey Payton. I love Corey Payton, man. He's a great voice actor. And actor on The Walking Dead. Which I haven't watched in a while. But Another good thing about this is that besides the mention of Dr. Fate, no other heroes show up, which is quite interesting considering what's all going on in this world, and it kind of lets you know in the DC universe there are so many heroes, but there are so many villains as well, and these heroes really can't be everywhere, and they can't save everybody and do everything. They're not omnipresent, unfortunately, and that just added a lot more depth to this movie as well, with just the civilians getting into it, getting mixed up and all this stuff, and that was pretty great. Once again, Sam Liu did a great job distributing the story, making sure everybody had enough screen time and enough character development. Back to Professor Pig, when he was mentioned, it was kind of very interesting, and how even though he's crazy, he's shown as a good surgeon, which I didn't know who Professor Pig was until like Arkham Knight, but he's shown up in like a lot of stuff lately. But he was great. Unfortunately, he was also killed after he completed the surgery, which is like, man, he did that for you and you still killed him. But yeah, Vandal Savage, he's a beast. He's a beast. But the fighting in the film was great. There's a battle between Deadshot and Bronze Tiger, which is great to see when Deadshot is going to find his daughter, who, as it turns out, she's just like her dad. They didn't go into her like being like an assassin like him. Apparently she likes danger, and she like smokes weed a lot, and he actually breaks into her, you assume, dorm room at college, and meets a roommate. Her roommate's like, oh, you're her dad. She talks about you. Yeah, she doesn't like you that much. She's out down here probably trying to buy some weed. Speaking of that, I just woke up. You want to wake and bake with me? He's like, kind of thinks about it, but then he dips out. And she's like, oh, well, more for me. So that's pretty funny, but he does end up reuniting with her in the end in his sports car. And I did mention earlier, since Bronze Tiger died with the car in his hand, he went automatically to heaven. He was pretty much the most safe one in the group anyway, like in terms of he only really killed evil people. Deadshot gives his card to Waller, says it's still good. It's not, so she's gonna die and have to face judgment for her sins without any card as a safety net. But another thing about that card, the fact that it's a get out of hell free card, in the DC universe, there's so many different afterlives. So I wonder if it really works if you are a Christian, like if you are like Dr. Fate. Like the fact that he had cards is just weird, but if you're like someone who believes in another afterlife, will that card work for you? I wish they kind of explained that, like either just get out of torment and you can go to wherever your version of paradise is for free. That would have been nice for them to explain. They didn't. It's fine. They didn't have to go too much in depth on that. I mean, the card was just pretty much a mulligan to get them, to keep the story going. But I think that's all the thoughts I have on the film. I really enjoyed it. Remember, you can go check out the full review written on my blog, flixfrog.wordpress.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, and also now Reddit. Remember, go help me over there. Really could use some supporters on Reddit. Those guys are a little mean. You can also find me on the Stardust app. I am a superstar over there. I do a bunch of little quick reviews for TV episodes, movies, before I write the full reviews on my blog. The most recent one I did was Amateur, which is a Netflix original movie. That's great. You guys should definitely check that out as well. Also, don't forget, please subscribe to the YouTube page, SUBSCRIBE. Subscribe. I could use more subscribers. I could use more viewers. Share, like, comment, all of that. Just click that subscribe button. Make it happen for me. Not sure what my next Let's Talk Spoilers video is going to be. I'm definitely not sure. There's a possibility it could be Avengers Infinity War. If I think about what movies are coming out, I think it's definitely going to be Avengers Infinity War. So, next Let's Talk Spoilers will be Avengers Infinity War. Wait for that to hit the page soon. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.